Before Harry Potter ever stepped foot in Hogwarts, a secret war was raging in the shadows, one that would shape the entire wizarding world. This wasn't just a battle between good and evil, it was a brutal, hidden conflict fought by a small but fiercely loyal group of witches and wizards known as the Order of the Phoenix, dedicated to stopping a dark force more terrifying than anything Harry would later face. What really happened before The Boy Who Lived? What sacrifices did the Order make to protect the magical world and Harry's future? If you think you know the story, think again. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because the truth behind the Order's first war will shock you. 1. The rise of Voldemort and the birth of the Order. In the 1970s, a young wizard named Tom Riddle began carving a dark path through the magical world. Brilliant, charismatic, and ruthless, Riddle sought to purify wizardkind by eradicating those he considered unworthy: Muggleborns, Mudbloods, and anyone who opposed him. This ideology was more than prejudice. It was the foundation of a terrifying movement fueled by ancient dark magic and a thirst for absolute power. Voldemort, as he would come to be known, gathered followers, the Death Eaters, who carried out his brutal commands. Seeing the rise of this new threat, Albus Dumbledore, then a professor at Hogwarts and a wizard renowned for both his wisdom and strength, understood that the wizarding world was on the brink of chaos. But most wizards, fearing Voldemort's power, refused to stand up. Dumbledore could not stand by. He formed a secret society, the Order of the Phoenix, to fight Voldemort and his Death Eaters in the shadows. The Order was a group of extraordinary witches and wizards who risked everything to protect others. From Sirius Black's fearless loyalty to Molly Weasley's fierce protectiveness. From Remus Lupin's resilience to James and Lily Potter's love and courage. The Order became the frontline resistance. They operated quietly, protecting those targeted, spying on Death Eaters, and fighting battles unseen by the wider world. 2. The First Wizarding War, behind the scenes. This war wasn't the epic clash you see in movies. It was guerrilla warfare, ambushes, espionage, and acts of courage behind closed doors. The Order's members lived in constant danger. Their homes were targeted, their loved ones threatened. Death Eaters terrorized wizarding communities, spreading fear with every act of violence and intimidation. The Ministry of Magic was slow to act, often denying the threat or underestimating Voldemort's power. The Order's work was critical but dangerous. They protected families, evacuated children, and infiltrated Death Eater circles to gather intelligence. They operated in secrecy, using coded messages and hidden safe houses. Trust was rare, and paranoia ran high. At times, it felt like fighting a losing battle. Every victory was shadowed by a new tragedy. The war tested their resolve, friendships, and faith, pushing each member to their limits as the darkness closed in. 3. Betrayals and tragedies. The greatest threat to the Order wasn't just Voldemort, it was betrayal from within. Severus Snape, a double agent, walked a dangerous line. Though his true loyalties were unclear to many, his actions affected the war's course profoundly, creating tension and suspicion among the members. The most devastating blow was the death of James and Lily Potter. Their sacrifice protected their son, Harry, from Voldemort's killing curse, but it was a heart-wrenching loss for the Order. Sirius Black, Harry's godfather and a fierce Order member, was falsely accused and imprisoned for their murder, adding to the chaos and pain that fractured the group. Other Order members like Frank and Alice Longbottom were tortured into insanity by Bellatrix Lestrange and other Death Eaters, their minds broken by the Cruciatus curse. These wounds were deep and lasting, a constant reminder of the brutal cost of war. Yet, every death, every betrayal, only strengthened the Order's resolve to defeat Voldemort once and for all. Their grief fueled their determination, binding them together in a shared mission that transcended personal loss. 4. The prophecy and Harry's role foretold. At the heart of the conflict was a prophecy revealed to Dumbledore by Sybil Trelawney. It foretold that a child born at the end of July would have the power to defeat Voldemort. This prophecy made Harry Potter the target of Voldemort's wrath, setting in motion a chain of events that would change the wizarding world forever. But it also gave the Order a purpose: to protect Harry at all costs. The Potters' love and sacrifice cast a powerful protective charm over Harry, one that Voldemort could not break, shielding him from the killing curse and marking him as the boy who lived. The prophecy was a ticking clock, both a hope and a burden. It weighed heavily on the shoulders of the Order and Harry alike. The members of the Order understood that Harry's fate would decide the war's outcome, and everything they did, from intelligence gathering to personal sacrifices, was aimed at ensuring he survived to face his destiny. Every mission, every battle, was a step toward fulfilling that prophecy. 5. The fall of Voldemort and the aftermath. The war reached its turning point when Voldemort attempted to kill Harry as a baby, only to lose his physical form in the process. That moment was both a victory and a tragedy. Voldemort was believed defeated, and hope returned to the wizarding world. But peace was fragile and uneasy. The scars of war remained deep. The Order had lost many brave members, heroes whose names would be whispered with reverence for generations. Families were shattered, and entire communities lived in fear of a dark future. The trauma wasn't just physical. It ran through memories, relationships, and an entire generation forever altered by loss. In public, people celebrated Voldemort's downfall, but in private, many feared he would return. The Order never stopped watching. They remained active in the shadows, quietly resisting dark sympathizers, preserving what little unity remained, and shielding the wizarding world from falling into complacency. They knew the story wasn't over. It had only paused. Behind the curtains of celebration, they prepared for the inevitable, because true evil never dies quietly, and the Order would be ready when it rose again. 6. Legacy of the Order, the Hidden War's impact on Harry. When Harry entered Hogwarts years later, he was stepping into a world still shaped by the Order's sacrifices. The bravery of those who fought before him was the foundation of his story. Every spell he learned, every lesson he absorbed, carried the echoes of that hidden war, a conflict that many wizarding families still remembered with pain and pride. The secret war before Harry's birth wasn't just background. It was the reason he survived and why he was destined to defeat Voldemort. Without the Order's courage and relentless vigilance, Harry might never have had the chance to grow, learn, or fight back. Even Dumbledore's guidance, Sirius Black's loyalty, and Remus Lupin's quiet mentorship were all shaped by the fires of that first war. These were survivors who passed their strength on to Harry, whether through wisdom, sacrifice, or fierce protection. The Order had laid the groundwork for the resistance Harry would one day lead. The Order's story is one of courage, sacrifice, and hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. Their legacy lives on through Harry, his friends, and every witch and wizard who believes that light can triumph over shadow. And Harry's journey was only the next chapter in a war that had been raging long before he ever existed. A war fought in silence, in secret, by those who chose to stand up even when the world wasn't watching. They weren't just fighting for victory, they were fighting for the future. The Order of the Phoenix wasn't just heroes, they were the unseen protectors of the wizarding world's future. Their secret war made Harry's victory possible, proving that the greatest battles often happen in the shadows. If this revealed a new side of Harry Potter for you, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Which Order member inspired you most? What secret shocked you? Tell us. The magic continues here.